Hey there, it's Terry again with Collabo Creative. I'm coming at you with another 5 minutes of tips and tricks to improve creativity and collaboration in your business and life. And this week we are going to be talking about where creativity comes from. Because as we talked about before, creativity is one of the number one skills for both leadership as well as team members. Because it helps us to be more innovative, it helps us to create better solutions faster, solve problems better and faster. And who doesn't want that, right? So let's work on exercising that creativity muscle. So when we think about creativity, a lot of times what comes to mind is that you're just coming up with lots of ideas. It's all about the ideas. It's about being able to create new things. But let's take a step back and start to think about, how do we actually come up with new thoughts? Where does that creation or that creativity or that spark, where does it come from? So when we think about creativity, it's actually the ability for our brains to make connections between different or disparate concepts. And so what that means is you actually have to be curious in order to be creative. And that's kind of the core of it. And this comes from one of my favorite guys in the entire world. I wish I knew this person, but he is an amazing thinker. And his name is Sinek. And he says, the more curious you are about the world, the more you experience and learn. The more you experience and learn, the more connections your brain is able to make. And with more connections, you can find new solutions to problems or just see things that no one else can see. So in other words, that helps you to be creative. So when you're trying to be more creative, you're trying to build that creative muscle and be able to get in that flow and get more ideas and make more connections, you really have to think about what are the experiences that you've had and how can you have more experiences so your brain can start making these connections. So some examples of what we like to do is go out and take a walk. You got my permission. 5 minutes, go outside, take a walk, enjoy the experience. The other thing is you can let your mind wander. So a lot of times when people talk about daydreaming, you sit there and you just let your mind wander and see where your thoughts go. Maybe you start thinking about the weather, the news, all those things. But all these disparate thoughts or different thoughts that you have, your brain starts to make connections across the different concepts. And that's where these creative ideas come from. And so one of my favorite tips for being more creative actually comes from a book called Creative Confidence. Fancy, I have one right here. Creative Confidence by David Kelly. Fantastic book about different exercises you can do to be more creative. And one of his tips is hit the snooze bar. Yes, I said that. Hit the snooze bar. You have permission to sleep in longer. Based off of what he talks about, he says when your brain is in between that awake and asleep mode, it's starting to fire all of these different connections, and that's why in that phase you're able to have lots of ideas come into flow and just let those ideas come out. So make sure tomorrow morning when you wake up, you hit that snooze bar and let your ideas flow and start to be a little bit more creative. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching this week's Collabo Clip. And if you like this video, give us some thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Do you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle? Shoot over an email to hello@collabocreative.com.
And if you liked this video, thumbs up, right? And don't forget to surprise. Don't forget to surprise. Oh my gosh.